Discover a new educational and interactive podcast, Stories for Kids by Lingo Kids. Our episodes are packed with fun activities. Right, Elliot?
Oh, yes! We went shape hunting around the block, and we found spheres and cubes on the street.
That was great fun. Join Stories for Kids, the Lingo Kids podcast, inspiring you to learn while having fun. Listen to Stories for Kids on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey friends, it's Mr. Jim, and welcome back to Kids Animal Stories. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family of critter protectors. Yes, if you love critters of all shapes and sizes, we need you on our team. We need you to be protecting critters in your backyard or at the park or everywhere you go. Well, today's story is about an axolotl. Have you ever heard of an axolotl? Well, this is going to be a great adventure. Let's go! Wait a second. What in the world did I just say? Axolotl? All right, let's practice that together. Let's say Axel. All right, that one's easy. Lotl. Axolotl. Yeah, they are an amazing underwater critter that you may have never seen before, but they are incredible underwater critters. And that is where our story begins. Underwater. It was a beautiful day in this crystal clear pond as Ted the tadpole was swimming around. Ted was a tiny little baby American toad. They're little tadpoles that are all black, and when they're just born, they don't have any hands or arms or legs. It's just kind of like a round head with a tail. And Ted is very adorable. But he loves to go exploring, so as he's swimming around, off in the distance, he saw something that he had never seen before.
What in the tarnation is over there?
Huh, Ted said as he swam closer. And over there, that was a baby axolotl.
Holy smokes, I've never seen a critter like you before. What's your name? My name's Ted, by the way.
Oh, hello, my name's Axel. I'm an axolotl.
What in the world is an axolotl?
It's me. I don't know how to answer that, but I'm new here. Do you know much about this pond? Asked Axel.
Oh, I'm an expert. I've been in this pond for 3 days. I've seen every single corner, and I would love to show you around. Let's go swimming. Come on.
Ted the tadpole started swimming as Axel the axolotl was close behind. It's funny how Ted the tadpole thinks he's an expert of the pond, and he's only, how old did he say he was? 3 days old? Holy smokes, I don't think I was an expert much of anything at 3 days old. Except for crying. Yeah, I think I was a pretty good crier at 3 days old. What about you? What were you really good at when you were 3 days old? Well, as Axel and Ted swam around over the many days and weeks to come, they both started to grow bigger and bigger. You see, Axel, since he's an axolotl, he was born with arms and legs and a tail. And he even has lungs. Look at that. They look like little fingers that are coming out of the side of his face. And that helps him breathe underwater. Ted, our little tadpole, he doesn't have those kind of external lungs like that. But as he grew bigger and bigger, he started to grow arms and legs just like Axel. But Ted the tadpole's tail started to get smaller and smaller, which that's normal for tadpoles. When they get older and when they're starting to turn into either a frog or a toad, their tail actually kind of goes away. And then they can jump out of the water and continue their life out of the water as a frog or toad. But Ted was kind of confused because Axel's tail never got smaller. He just got bigger and bigger and bigger. But today, something very crazy happened. You see, Ted was still a tadpole. He had tiny little arms and legs that were not big enough to crawl around. And that pond that they had grown up in had gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, drying up because it was now summertime. They really needed to move to another pond, a place that had better water for them. But Ted was unable to get there. He was going to need the help of a good friend. Ted, you've got to let me help you. I can carry you over to that pond over there. I have bigger arms than you. Don't worry about it. I can help you.
I don't like receiving help from others. I need to do it all on my own,
said Ted the tadpole. I know, but I think this is one where you're going to need my help. This little pond is running out of water, and we need to move over to that one over there. Just please, let me carry you over there, said Axel.
Okay, just this once. Just don't tell anybody. This is so embarrassing.
You see, Ted the tadpole, he did not like receiving help. Do you know what that means? Yeah, sometimes, you just want to do something all on your own or all by yourself, right? And you don't want anyone's help. Yeah, and that's how Ted the tadpole's feeling. He wants to do this all by himself, but unfortunately, he can't. He is unable to get to that other pond, and so he actually needs help of a friend, like Axel. And so it was really hard for Ted to receive that help, but he finally ran out of options and chose to be carried over by Axel. Axel loved being a helpful friend. He was always there to help a fellow critter in need. As Axel was carrying his friend Ted the tadpole over to this new pond, they had to be very fast and very careful because the predators around there were big herons. Those are really big, tall birds that love to eat critters like Ted and Axel, so they had to be very fast. As Axel was running over the rocks trying to get to this new pond, ouch! One of his toes got stuck in between two rocks and it just fell right off. Axel barely even blinked as they splashed into the water. Psh!
Holy smokes, Axel, are you okay?
Said Ted. Yeah, I'm okay. It's okay. My limbs can all grow back pretty quickly. I'll have a new toe in no time. Ted the tadpole couldn't believe it. His eyes were ginormous. One, that kind of grossed him out that the toe fell off in the first place. And two, what kind of superpower is that he can grow back his toes? I know my toes cannot grow back like that. Can yours? Ted the tadpole began to think if Axel was some kind of superhero, because he'd never seen another critter like Axolotl before. Over the next several weeks, they just enjoyed all the new food at this new pond, and they loved playing around and having a ton of fun. And unfortunately, they were having so much fun that they did not realize who was paying attention to them.
This is the best day ever,
said Ted. I know. Oh, this is just the best place to live, said Axel. You want to play hide and seek?
All right, well, you're it. I'm gonna go hide. Bye.
As Axel closed his eyes to start counting, he heard a giant splash, and he looked up. It was a heron chasing after Ted the tadpole. Oh no! What in the world is going to happen to them? Is Ted the tadpole about to get eaten by a heron? I hope not, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens on the next episode of Kids Animal Stories. Great job, you listened all the way to the end, and axolotls are so cool. They actually look like they're smiling. If you look up a picture of an axolotl, they look very happy. They have those fancy gill lungs right behind kind of where their ears would be, and that helps them breathe underwater. They're adorable things that come in some pretty cool colors. Have you ever seen a tadpole that looks like Ted before? Wow, I love finding tadpoles in little ponds and streams outside. Well, you have a super duper day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Discover a new educational and interactive podcast, Stories for Kids by Lingo Kids. Our episodes are packed with fun activities. Right, Elliot?
Oh, yes! We went shape hunting around the block, and we found spheres and cubes on the street.
That was great fun. Join Stories for Kids, the Lingo Kids podcast, inspiring you to learn while having fun. Listen to Stories for Kids on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.